Hello everyone, my name is Leon, and if you don't know me, I've been making props for many years. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I make this bow. This is Mitternachts Waltz. Mitternachts what? Mitternachts what? Mitternachts what? So anyway, you know what I'm going to say. And most importantly, you know what I'm going to make. As usual, I've included a template, so if you want to make along with me or you want to learn how to make it, welcome to check it out at my YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. And I can't wait to show you how I make this bow. So without further ado, let's go!
First, prepare the template I've ready. It is in A4 size and the cutting line has been marked properly. Cut along the cutting line, tape it with cello tape, and glue it onto your harder art card. Now cut the template out slowly and remove only one side of this part. Next, use a metal wire and bend accordingly. This will be used as the inner support structure.
And the reason why I'm using this metal is because this can be slightly pulled.
Now remove this part on only one side and trace the template onto 1 cm foam. After that, cut everything out slowly as every edges has to be nice and straight. This will also require 2 pieces to sandwich the metal inside. Now use the template and mark this line to ensure the metal placement. Place the metal onto it and trace along the metal. Using a sharp razor knife, make a V-cut on it for the metal support. Now slightly sand the metal surface with sandpaper and use super glue to stick the metal into the groove. Now take the other piece, sandwich the metal and push it. It will leave marks on the foam and it will be used to cut the groove on the other side. Use a marker pen to mark it for more visible cutting line. Repeat the same cutting with a razor knife so the metal will have space to be sandwiched. Now draw straight lines on every tip and then make a V-cut. This will be used for enhance the tip because foam tip can get damaged easily. Now use super glue and stick the wooden skewer into it, and the extra can basically just trim off with a cutter. And also don't forget the groove on the other foam. Now apply contact adhesive on both sides and sandwich them slowly. When it's done, move it aside and bring back the template. Cut this part out and trace 4 pieces on a 1 cm foam. Once every piece is cut out, I use contact adhesive to stick them onto it. And now it shall look like this. Move back to the template, cut the other side out, and also this. Use only this part and I trace 2 pieces onto 5 mm foam. Next, I cut them out slowly and carefully. After that, I apply contact adhesive on both sides and stick on it slowly. Now moving to this, just trace onto a 3 mm foam and cut 2 pieces out, and then stick onto the handle, just like this. Now let's go back to this template. Cut accordingly to the line because it will be used for marking the sanding line. Place it onto the foam and trace the sanding line. Now before we start sanding, let's finish the rest of the part. Using this template that I've created in Paper will allow us to get accurate dimension for this part. Trace this onto a 5 mm foam and cut it out by slanted cut on every edges, and that including these 2 as well. For this, I use hard 4 mm foam so that it can hold everything in shape nicely. Just like the other parts, all the edges have to be slanted cut. After everything is cut and ready, first sticking these few pieces together. And do not close this part yet, because we will need to do something on the metal support. Now mark the attachment marking and also the hole for the metal to go through and cut a hole with a sharp knife. Now slot in the metal and make sure everything fits nicely. For the 4 pieces that is sticking out, I use 4 mm hard foam so the tip won't get damaged easily. Now back to the main structure and sand off everything with a small sanding machine. First start with a harder sanding bit, then smooth the bit so the surface will be nice and smooth as a baby. Now back to this again. Align the metal with the corner and make a marking, and this will be attached with a thinner metal wire. Next, use epoxy glue to stick the metal together. To use an epoxy glue, just mix the AB part evenly, and then apply it onto it. Leave it for a few minutes. After it fully dried, slot it into this part. Bend the metal wire into a U shape. This is to make the hook for the string. Now glue all the seams with the super glue including the opening, and this is how the metal hook looks like. Now for the final part, first cut this off the template, place it onto an art card, and modify it by changing the end slightly lower. Now the new template is ready. Cut it out and trace it onto a 3 mm foam. I slanted cut inward on all the edges to give it a little bit of dimension. Now first stick them onto both sides of the bow. After that, glue in the middle. And next, mark all the detail lines on every part. This line will be slightly cut with a razor knife, and the reason behind this is for a much easier masking process. Now for the final look of all the details before moving to painting. And the final step before painting is heat seal all the surface.
Heat sealing the foam is a very important step before you start priming it. It's because the EVA foam has so many tiny holes. If you heat seal it, it can somehow close the pore and it can save a lot of time during priming.
After priming it, I suggest first use black paint as the base color and then paint over with gold. Then mask the gold color with 3M masking tape or painter's tape. Next will be the pink. And for this color, it is pink mixed with a little bit of purple to give it a slightly different tone. After masking everything, it is time for the final pan. For the final black color, I use matte black because it makes everything look so good. Now for the moment of truth. Remove all the masking slowly and pray to every god and hope everything is fine. And lastly, do not forget this. Just simply use purple pen and pink to create a little bit of gradient. And then I remove all the foam at the end that I've used for hanging purpose and stick it onto the bowl with super glue. And for the handle, I use this strap I found from Silk store and just wrap over it. I don't know what it called, so if you know what is the name, just leave a comment below and let the others know. And for the final step, use a thick black string and tie it on the hook. After tying on both sides, and it is done.
And that's it for my video today. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And also don't forget to check out my other videos. So, see you next time.